Trojan family, what's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. It's the top of the morning. I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, we got to talk about USC and some of the positive things that we can find throughout this game that they just played with Arizona. I think USC is going to have to pick up some fragments. You guys already know we went toe to toe. At the end of the day, it is a win. We went toe to toe with the team that went toe to toe with Washington as well. Some of the things that we could take away from this game, and I want to take a look at a couple of things real quick, a couple of plays, guys that continue to shine. Of course, you guys already know Mason Cobb was one of those guys. However, I'm still highly impressed with Jamil Muhammad. I went back and kind of looked at some tape. I want you guys to take a look at something real quick. Some of the things and some of the plays that he had made as well. Look. USC, if this is going to be our identity, if this is who we're going to be, listen, we got to play, we got to play tough, we got to play physical, and one of the crazy things, I was listening to Mason Cobb, one of his comments. He said, look, he said this, but look, for us it's stressful, but for him, he said, look, he gets bored by winning by 40 points. He said, I mean, it took grit. Look. I don't agree with that statement because look on the flip side of it, we sitting here stressed out. That was a crazy game, but he did come up with the game-winning tackle. He did come up with the end of the game play that would secure the win. But when I went back and looked at this tape, though, this film, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I mean, I think we don't give as much credit to Arizona as they should get. I mean, you're talking about a team that's extremely physical. Now that's one thing that we can question, like why were they were so physical, and even some of the players, if you looked at some of the players, those players were actually bigger than some of our guys. You looked at Big Seal wanted to come to USC, big defensive tackle, but he ended up going to Arizona. But you look at stuff like that, man, and you look at some of the in and outs of this game, you question a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I'm proud of the way these guys, and one thing I could say is that they never stop fighting. And that's one of the biggest because one of the past USC teams would quit, they would stop, they would give in, but this team all the way to the end, I got to give it to them. All the way to the end, they showed that, look, we're going to continue to fight on. They wanted to continue to fight through it. And so it's much props with that. And here's one of the biggest guys, man. It's Jamil Muhammad. He continued to fight on. Look, the whole game, Jamil Muhammad played consistent. He played strong. I think USC, they got somebody special with this guy, man. Of course, Solomon Berg, Keon Bars, all these guys. But there are some bright spots on the defense, and it's really primarily coming from the defensive front. We already know that there is big-time issues with some things in the secondary, but Kalen Bullock did come through in the secondary. We're going to see here Jacoby Covington. He came through in the secondary as well. But then there is some inconsistencies that we have to get straight. And but there's some bright spots, and you're going to see here Jacoby Covington with that big interception. And I'm very proud of him. I mean, because he set back. You guys already know he performed in the spring well, but then he took a seat back. I think he was hurt, but then he came back. So look, man, there are some bright spots, and you're gonna see Mason Cobb here come up with that big tackle. And look, it had us all stressed out, extremely stressed out. I want to look at some stuff from the AP poll, but this was a huge tackle for Mason Cobb. And you see Prophet Brown, and as I stated, if we got to play guys that hadn't played, like a guy like Prophet Brown, guys is willing to make the hustle, so be it. And Prophet Brown, man, he was actually one of those that was actually in place, all game, man. It seemed like, he's right there with Kalen Bullock, man. You look like he was, you got to question and kind of wonder why he hadn't been in the game. I mean, as I stated before, you see guys with the stars, and God bless all of them with the stars. But when you see guys that are willing to come in, willing to take that step, I like to see a guy like Anthony Beavers come in there, Zion Branch come in there and get some plays. We're starting to find out, the rubber's starting to meet the road, and guys are starting to come in and have to make plays, of course, due to injury. But I think the way Prophet Brown played, he did have one of them caught on him, but he was actually in place. But you got to think that Prophet Brown hadn't even been in there for most of the parts of the year. So I think for him to come in and be to play as physical and to play as good as he did, I think he might have earned himself a spot him along with I'm not sure what's with Jacoby Covington. I'm not sure what's going on with Christian Roland Wallace, but you guys know he pulled up. It looked like he might have had some type of hamstring situation. I'm not sure. That's the way it looked to me. I'm not calling it that, but that's the way it looked. But you see these guys coming in, playing the defense, man. The defense actually won this game for us, even though it wasn't what we desired. Absolutely not. And I'm not saying that at all. I know we're gonna keep getting these comments about fire Alex Grinch. Look, I can't fire Alex Grinch. USCJ can't fire Alex Grinch, but I can talk about the players who succeeded, the players who still stand out. And look, I think it's highly unlikely for Alex Grinch to go in the middle of the season. So at this point, there's no point for me to even to try to address that, as most people continue to do. The thing we need to do is try to look at our strengths in this defense and those who are standing out like a Prophet Brown in this defense. So I think Jamil Muhammad, Prophet Brown, Mesa Cobb, these guys, even Bear Alexander, these guys absolutely stood out. And I think we could build upon that. And I think defensively this week, I think we should be okay, especially with our defensive front when we facing a team like Notre Dame. Now, Caleb had to win this thing a whole different way this week. And I'll be honest, I was impressed from the aspect of, his strength. Caleb showed major strength when you're talking about going across on that end zone, man, just fighting through. This is really the absolute fight on, man. I mean, you're talking about fighting on because they shut down everything. They shut down everything due to the coverage and due to the 7-man, 8-man, whatever they had in the box. I mean, there was nowhere to throw. I mean, everybody was covered, the zone that they were running. And so Caleb had to do it different. We had to do it different. And as I stated before, I felt like we should have had more drawn up so that it could take the pressure off Caleb. So he wouldn't, you want to see him run, but you want to see him run in safe, open lanes. You don't want to see him running in the middle of areas where there are individuals in there where contact could be made. But then I would have liked to see more screen plays, flare outs, from the running backs. I mean, plays that were drawn up, which I think we can all learn from this. I think the coaching staff can learn from this, that we can all learn that, look, there's going to be some times where this situation is going to be shut down and the passing lanes are not going to be open. You're going to have to make some runs. You're going to have to throw the ball, create some plays. And I think Coach Riley and Cliff Kingsbury, I mean, this is what they're here for, right? They need to come up with these plays to really help Caleb out so that he won't have to utilize those legs like that. And if, you can keep the defense honest when you have other plays, other screen plays, other short slants, whatever. Have that stuff in place to where, if they shut down the deep pass, the big splash play, we have another thing that we can do. And you'll see Caleb here. And you see Caleb here, I mean, just showing the absolute what it is to fight on, man. I mean, this was it right here. I mean, he was able to go on that sideline, man, and put that ball across. And he had to do it a different way, man. So, look, man, he is the commander-in-chief of this offense. He single-handedly had to do it by himself. Everything was shut down. And big up and big props to Caleb for coming through like that. And look, that wasn't no easy thing, no easy task. But he did it, and that shows why he is the Heisman Trophy, returning Heisman Trophy winner. And the last thing I'm going to show you, we got a guy, he's been consistent. His name is Marshawn Lloyd. He continues to, just be super explosive, man. So, look, I know they're saying that the rushing lanes aren't there, but look, he has created his own rushing lanes. Look at the cuts right here. Marshawn Lloyd continues to do this. Just keep feeding him the ball. The more you feed him, the more physical he'll be, the more in the rhythm he'll be. Let's look at this AP poll stuff. All right, so here is the AP poll. You see it just came out. We'll take a look at it. You see after week 7, USC is 6-0. Thank God. Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Ohio State 3, Florida State 4, Oklahoma 5. You guys see Oklahoma after that big win with Texas. And look, let me say this. I'm going to say rightfully so. They showed that they can go out there and dominate a team like Texas, and it was a physical game, and they were able to win. I don't have no problem with Oklahoma moving up. I mean, they look good, and I gotta keep it 100. Penn State number 6, Washington 7, Oregon 8, and then Texas. This is the only thing I don't agree with. Texas has a loss. I don't care who they beat. If they beat Alabama, I don't think rightfully so that if you got an L, it's no way. But look, we got to prove it on the field, and I think this should feed this should anger all the USC football players on the team right now, because look, they're disrespecting USC. They just waiting to put Alabama. You see them there. You see us at number 10. You see Alabama at number 11. They're just waiting to put Alabama. I mean, they've been waiting for this. But look, we don't need to give them an opportunity. We don't need to give them a chance. We control our own destiny. We just have to go out there and prove it. Take it game by game, win by win. And hey, we got to do it however we got to do it. So look, man, you got North Carolina 12, Ole Miss 13, 14 Louisville, which they beat Notre Dame. 15 is going to be Oregon State, 16 Utah, 17 is Duke, 18 UCLA. They had a big win against Washington State. Number 19, Tennessee is they're tied for number 19. Wow. Notre Dame's number 21. So USC will get their first ranked win this season if they win this game this weekend, and I believe we can. We'll talk about that. We'll break that down. LSU's number 22. 23 is going to be Kansas, and then number 24 is going to be Kentucky. Now, number 25 was the most lost in the sauce loss of all this weekend. Is probably the Miami one. You guys go back and YouTube that or Google that one. I'm not even going to tell you about that. That was crazy. But they're number 25. But look, so you guys hit me in the comments. You guys tell me what you think. You guys already know where you can find me. It's going to be USCJ32 on Instagram, USCJ32 on Twitter. Until later on, listen, everybody stay blessed. Fight on, fight on, fight on.